Hey graduates, big up on a nice clean self. I see you all. Big up on a nice clean self. I see you all. Hang on a minute. Let me just make sure that I share the live to my my Facebook page while we all come into the class. I have a few things to talk about tonight. Making sure that you can all see me. Hang on, let me turn on my camera for just a little bit, just to say hello. Just to say hello. Hi. Can barely see me. I think I need to adjust my camera just a little bit. It's a little bit too that way. How is everybody doing on this fine Sunday evening? How is everybody doing on this fine Sunday evening? Hope you are all well. Big up yourself, Faith Bell, Charmaine Walker. Good afternoon, Drea Prayer Warrior. I see you. Celebrate yourself with Sue St. Joy. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Christine, Bayesian Girl, Wagwan. Drea Prayer Warrior, good afternoon to you. And who else have we got? Stacy McDonald, big up yourself. Shy Trini, big up yourself. It is what it is, says howdy do. And I love the purple hearts as always. Girl with the biggest gap, big up yourself. You actually caught it live. You mean so much. Oh no. Well, I'm glad you are here. Here is my darling Norma. And as Norma says, please to like up the live as soon as you come on. Big up yourself, Denise Salmon. I see you. Celebrate with joy. We still stand with Jay. You don't know. Jamaicans for justice. This now about justice for Jay. All juveniles, all victims. Absolutely. And yes, I am having a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much for asking, Rosemary. Um, barely recovering. Up, people. I have a slight hangover. Man. Last night was lit. Yeah, girl. So let's see. Professor Gorgeous Lady, big up yourself. Hi, Debbie. What's up? And who else is here? Jay Lee, happy Sunday. It's what? Snowstorming in Canada. God damn. Love the background. It's just there because I'm just like, I don't have to always show where I am, do I? Hmm. You never know where I could be. Mitzi, big of yourself. Misunderstood. Good afternoon. You look slim and trim. Oh, thank you so much. I have lost quite a lot and I'm still losing. So thumbs up for me. And even though, guys, I went out for Valentine's, I'm not gonna lie, I did eat, but that was the one time I ate for the day. And I had pudding and all sorts. And normally I don't have sweets. So that was a complete break away because it was a special occasion. Today I made sure I fasted until 5. And I had my dinner, and my dinner was, I had curry chicken, I had one yam, one slice of yam, one slice of banana and steamed veg, and coconut water, my loves. So tomorrow it'll be no carbs at all, and we will keep it moving. You understand? Because it's about permanent health. Permanent health. Right. So let's see who else is here. Unbothered forever. Yes, says J for J. Good afternoon to you. Yes, I'm good. Thank you so much. I am good. Lady G, Lady C, big up yourself. Nats, good evening. Survivor's hands. Big up yourself, Nicole. Matty Adea, I like that. Misunderstood. Glad to see you catch a live Mitzi. June Sundak, Melanie Walters. You know my life, big up my people. Olivine Campbell. Hey, all the way from New York City. The Three Leaf Clover. Good afternoon. Hey, Foreign Women TV. What's up, sis? Big up yourself. Anne Marie McCausland. Hello, hello. Plants Mom. Like up the live. I like that. Raining cats and dogs in New York City. It was raining for us yesterday. But it's calmed down today, right? Yes, good menu. Yeah, and not I hardly have carbs. So I look refreshed for someone with a slight hangover, dudes. I had some rum, eh? I had some. Me bring back some Appleton the last time I go to Jamaica. I may never open it until last night, my loves. I must say the liquor busting in my head and all these things, So I'm not having any more alcohol again for ages. Yes, that is it. Big up yourself, Carrie. Walk on, walk on. Iris, though, I see you. Good afternoon to Jeanette Johnson and Cooking with Elaine. And guys, don't forget to show your fellow YouTubers, our fellow YouTubers, some support. Go and support their pages. I know I see Foreign Woman TV on here. Plant Mom, I don't know if you're a page or not, but if you are, people, please go and check it out. Cooking with Elaine, the same. Please do that, because it's all about support for support at the end of the day. Yeah, help all of our YouTubers to grow, and do subscribe to their channels. Right. We do have a few things that we need to talk about, and I'm going to start with the serious stuff. I mean, not that anything isn't serious, but the more serious stuff, because there's a lot of controversy going around with regards to the green card at the moment. And I know for a fact that there are people who have got all kinds of concerns and worries about it, and I think it's really important that we clarify that, particularly for those of us who are in the process of applying for citizenship in the United States of America, and are currently on a green card and wanting the freedom to be able to travel back to the islands as often as they wish. Um, Now, I did overhear a couple of videos, one of which was talking about the fact that traveling back and overstaying is a problem. Well, we all kind of know that when you do have a green card, it is not citizenship. You do not have the same rights as a citizen of America. And it is expected that when you have got a green card, that you are committed to living and working in the United States. So, really and truly, overstaying when you are out of the country is not supposed to happen. But I do think that people need some clarity around what does overstaying qualify as, and how are we supposed to actually do that without getting into trouble with immigration to the point where your green card gets revoked. And yes, it can get revoked, not just for the purpose of crime and felony, but because you are not showing yourself to be committed as a resident in the United States. Now, I also heard another video where basically somebody was talking about the fact that somebody they knew had traveled outside of the country to visit Jamaica, be it that they have a business or they were just visiting on holiday or whatever. But they stayed, like they would stay 4 months at a time, then they'd come back, then they'd stay another 2 months, and then they'd come back, and then they'd stay another 2 months, and so on, throughout the period of 1 year, 365 days. And in total, in terms of the amount of time they had spent out of the country, it had amassed to over 6 months, and it caused a problem. In that, when they turned up in the country at the airport, the immigrations officer actually revoked the green card that they had, and then gave them instead a visitor's visa, saying that they don't need a green card if they're spending so much time outside of the country. Of course, this has set a lot of people in panic, um, because we are all thinking that we're talking about 6 months at a time. We're talking about 1 year at a time. What exactly is the time frame, and exactly how long can we stay out of the country without it being flagged by immigration, and considered to be a breach of our green card terms and conditions? So we're going to go into some of the facts about that, and help to educate our brothers and sisters so they don't make any silly mistakes, especially in today's climate where it looks like Jaylee's giving me some giving me some hangover tips. What should I try? Jaylee said, if I try chocho with ginger, pineapple, cucumbers, green apples, cilantro, and parsley. Then me forgot blend up all of that and drink it. I have all of that in my pantry, but still, that's a lot of work. I think I just drink tomato juice. It seems to be working so far. So yeah. Okay. Oh, you're not a page. Plant Mom says she just loves gardening. Okay, never mind. That's fine. So, like I was saying, I think it's important to educate our brothers and sisters so they know exactly what is what's allowed, what's not allowed, what you can do to circumnavigate the climate that we are now facing when it comes to immigration and the whole thing around deporting people in the United States of America. And it really is about making sure that we don't make crucial mistakes, right? And also knowing your rights when it comes to defending that. Okay, so we're going to go into the fact that we really and truly should not be comfortable when it comes to having our green card. It is not a good idea, right? And it's really important that we break down exactly under what circumstances can you actually lose your green card, and then we're going to break down how you can handle traveling. Okay, how you can handle all of your traveling, because obviously you don't want to think that you can't leave the country, but you can't keep leaving the country and it not cause a problem. So, first of all, yes, you can travel abroad as a green card holder. It is one of the benefits of being obviously a permanent resident in the United States. However, your trip, it must be temporary, and you cannot remain outside of the United States for more than 1 year. Um, so, what can happen is that if the Customs and Border Protection officer believes that you don't intend to continue living permanently in the US, they can revoke your status as a permanent resident. Now, uh, I know that sounds terrible, but should it be happening if it's less than a year? Is the question that you are asking, and that's what was presented in the video that I watched. That this person had only over the period of 1 year amassed about 7 months worth of travel, and yet had their green card revoked. Now, obviously, it can't be the case that they will tell you to leave the country, as in, immediately stop your entry. But what they can do is that they can downgrade your status from having a green card to a visitor's visa. Now, there are debates happening around this at the moment in America, because it actually is not a lawful act to do this. You can challenge it, but you have got to have a lawyer at hand ready to do so. Okay. Um, so when you do leave um, the country, green card holders will need to present the passport from the country where they're a citizen. Um, and in some cases, if they have a refugee travel document, they'll have to present that. You have to be sure that you have your green card on you for the duration of whatever trip that you are on. And you may find that some countries will require you to have a visa upon arrival. All right. Now, upon returning, you'll still need your green card and your passport. You may also have to present your identifying documents. It could be your US driver's license or a foreign national ID, and then the CBP officer will look over these documents to determine whether or not you can re-enter the country. So you have to travel with these things. Travel with your green card, travel with your passport, obviously, and travel with any kind of ID that you have that's based in the United States. A driver's license is always good because it shows some kind of commitment to the country. And if you have a foreign national ID, then you use that as well. Now, if, for example, you have to travel and you have to stay out longer than a year, um, it is best that you submit something called a form 131. Okay. Now this form, it's an I-131. It's an application for travel documents. And then when you do that, you'll be able to apply for something called a reentry permit. Now, this permit will allow you to stay outside of the country for up to a maximum of 2 years. You won't need to obtain a returning resident visa from the US Embassy or anything like that if you have this permit. Okay. Now, it is important to note that after it expires, or at least before it expires, you should renew that if you have to continue staying outside of the country for an extended period of time. This is, in a way, it holds on to your green card status. It makes customs officers aware of the fact that you have got permission to stay out for as long as you need to stay out. And it makes sure that you don't have to go to the back of the class and do the whole application all over again, in order to get your immigrant visa, right? So you have to be aware of the fact that these things do exist, so that you do not put yourself on the wrong hand of the law if you have to stay outside of the country for an extended period of time. Now, the permanent resident card is what the green card was formerly known as. Um, and that gives you the right to live and to work on a permanent basis. It's a major milestone, as you know, on the path to US citizenship, and it offers benefits and stability. But it is not a guarantee of permanent residence. And this is what people need to understand. It's not a guarantee. There are several conditions under which a green card can be revoked. And that will lead to a loss of residency and possibly deportation. Okay. So one of the reasons where you can end up completely losing your green card is that you've committed fraud, or you have done some kind of misrepresentation during the application process. So, you do some chopping, you scam, yeah. Um, if they've misrepresented themselves or committed fraud when applying, um, and that could be false documents, false information, or omitting significant facts during the process, you can get your green card revoked. So, for example, marriage fraud, which is one of the common things that occurs with a lot of our people who try to settle in the United States as quickly as possible, then find somebody married, and it's not a real, genuine relationship. I'm not talking about the one that would definitely. Oh, thank you so much, Eileen. I see your message. You love my channel, right? It's not so much about those who find a relationship, and them genuinely love the person and a sort of thing set and they're married. Me, I talk about the one them we actually make arrangements. Like, for example, the Bonix girl where was reportedly caught up in marriage fraud, and she actually charged somebody $10,000 in order to get married. Them the kind of wickedness that we are talking about, right? So that is marriage fraud. And then there is false documents, submitting counterfeit documents or using someone else's identity. Like if you leave out certain facts, so you fail to disclose certain information, such as a prior criminal record or past immigration violations. That can lead to severe penalties. So if you know you did get kicked out of another country for whatever reason, and you leave that off of your application, that can come back and bite you if somebody goes and reveals that to immigration, and that can cause you to lose your green card, right? So, usually when something like fraud takes place, you don't only have it revoked, but removal proceedings and deportation is usually expedited. It's usually it's like you know food for stand up pan right there. So, and then obviously, if you commit certain crimes, it can be revoked as well. So the US law, it distinguishes between different categories of crime, some of them being more serious in terms of their impact on immigration status. For example, aggravated felonies. This category includes crimes such as taking somebody 3 pints, if you are smuggled to dust them, if you are graping, and other offenses like these. Committing an aggravated felony can lead to the revocation of a green card and obviously deportation without the possibility of reentry. There's also crimes which involve moral turpitude. Moral turpitude. These are crimes that indicate a breach of societal standards. So that will include white collar crime, fraud, theft, or assault, right? And while one of those may not be enough for your green card getting revoked, multiple offenses or one committed within 5 years of obtaining a green card can be problematic. Now, listen to that very carefully, because a lot of people think that, oh my God, it was just petty theft. I just shoplifted. Or, I run a credit card scam. I may get catch as so. and me not do nothing else since. If this happens within 5 years of obtaining a green card, so you get a green card, and within 4.9 years, you decide, say, you are going to do the thing them, and you get catch, that can be a reason for it to be revoked because it was committed within the first 5 years of obtaining a green card. So pay attention to them time frame there. You understand, right? Now, obviously, there's also, the related offenses to do with, carrying things, trafficking things that people snort swallow. You understand? So if you do any of them things there and you are caught, especially in possession of a certain amount of the controlled substances, this can obviously trigger deportation proceedings and revoke the green card. Most of these kind of crimes will lead to deportation. Um, and as I said, the one to me that is the most extreme of the crimes in terms of it's not that serious, but still it can lead to it, is the crimes involving moral turpitude. Because as I said, it can be as simple as a theft, or fraud of even a minor degree, or an assault, as in you're down the road, and you know your man woman rush you, and you decide for liquor back with a buckle, and then you get catch, and she press charges because she well I know, so you're then at the time frame that is necessary for get a kick. These are the kind of things that people are going to be, especially those who are of American of the soil, are going to be aware of, and they're going to target people who they know are in that process, which is so important. Why not chat your business? But I'm just saying, it just takes something simple like that, and by the time you look, because it's within that time frame of 5 years of having your green card, gone, you're gone, brother. Gone, you're gone. You understand? Have to be of good moral character by paying ticket fees and paying taxes. Yeah, tell that to Mr. Dotty CMR. He need to know that because him still have tickets outstanding. Professor Gorgeous Lady, important question. If you are married and after 4 years the husband divorced you, will the female still get her green card? Plus, he was the one that filed for you. He can, providing he does not withdraw the application himself. Professor Gorgeous Lady. So, providing that, okay, you guys have divorced and Mr. Man is not up in his feelings and wanting to spite you, and he just leaves it there, then you should be able to still have that, okay? Because relationships do break down. Um, and if you are a person of good character and good standing, then there really should be no reason for them to say no to you, okay? If you fulfill the term. Right. So, let's move on. Another reason why they can revoke your green card is if you fail to maintain permanent residence. Now, this is the part that has a lot of Jamaicans currently very concerned. Um, so, holding a green card requires maintaining that the United States of America is your primary residence. That's where you plan to live, work, pay your damn taxes, right? So, if an individual leaves the country for an extended period of time without the appropriate documentation, it can be seen as abandoning their permanent resident status. Now, you've got to consider these things. The key points on residence abandonment are lengthy absences, and that is staying outside of the US for more than a year without obtaining a re entry permit or returning resident visa can raise the red flags. A re-entry permit allows for up to 2 years of absence, but it must be obtained before leaving because there are biometrics involved. So when you are applying for your re-entry permit, that gives you that 2 year break. You have to apply for that in the United States because you have to follow through with the biometrics protocol, and that will give you the time that's necessary if you need to stay longer than a year. Also, there is the intent to maintain residency, right? Now, even absences shorter than a year. So, this is where the other stories got confirmed by the research that I did, because I said to myself, but the woman stay out for 7 months, isn't that a year? So why the hell is it that her green card is being revoked and she's being given a visitor's visa? Is beyond me. But then when I found this piece of information, I realized that they have managed to work in a clause that can be problematic for people who have to travel back on a regular basis. Now listen, there is the fact that even absences shorter than a year can be problematic. And that is if the United States custom officers believes that the individual does not intend to maintain their U.S. residence. Now, listen to the wording of that ish. Okay, listen to that. If the customs officer believes the individual does not intend to maintain their U.S. residence. So that is down to personal belief. That is down to that customs officer's intuition, sixth sense, suspicion. Okay. And evidence such as foreign employment, property, or ties to another country can indicate abandonment. So if you have got a job that you go to Jamaica to do, for example, and that job allows you or causes you to stay out of the United States for lengthy periods of time, be it intermittently or congruently, which means in consecutive order. If it is that you have got to keep going because you have one work over there, and then worse, you go build big house over there, and so I have to go, you have to go maintain your house, and you have investments in a Jamaica, you have to go down, go sort out your investments. It can lead the customs officer into believing that you do not intend to maintain your U.S. residence, and it is more important for you to be in Jamaica than it is for you to be in the United States. So at this point, they can flag you at the airport as somebody who should not have should not have your green card. Now, they may not revoke it on the very first return or even the second, but every time you go out and you stay for a lengthy period of time, these mofos, they are blatantly flagging your stuff to say to the next customs officer, yo, check for see how long that person has stay out again. Check again how long that person has stay out and keep tallying. So when they keep flagging your passport and they're looking at you and going, hang on a minute, you've been out again for 6 months and now you've been out for 3 months. Another customs officer get the flag and say, but backside, you've been out again for another 2 months. No, man, 3 strikes and you're out. And that's purely on a discretionary basis because the second custom officer could equally do the same. Right? And they would say, no, man, stay out far too long. And while they may not turn you back because, hey, you've not committed any crime, you were in Jamaica doing business, you're not a criminal, you're not doing nothing dodgy, what they can do is they can downgrade your green card and turn it into a visitor's visa and say that it's more important for you to have a visitor's visa status than for you to have your green card. And that's where it gets really, really sticky. Really, really sticky. You understand? So this particular clause here about intent to maintain residency does apply to absences that is even shorter than a year, even though you have the right to be out for a year. Now, it does not mean that you cannot challenge it, okay? There are things that you can do, and we can talk about that a bit later. So, to show continuous residence, green card holders need to maintain financial, social, and familial ties to the United States. And this has to include things like filing taxes, keeping a U.S. driver's license, owning property in America. Now, if you have these things and say, for example, a customs officer decides to challenge you, you have got good grounds upon which you can, counteract this so that you can gain your green card status back. If you don't have these things, obviously you are on weaker footing, right? So the U.S. law requires green card holders to notify the USCIS of any change of address within 10 days of moving. Now, failing to comply with this requirement, it may seem minor to you, but it can have significant consequences, especially if there's an ongoing investigation or legal matter. Now, while an address change failure alone might not immediately lead to a revocation of your green card, it can compound other issues and be used as evidence of negligence or abandonment of residency. Now, pay attention to that. If you are in the process of moving from one place to the other, you've moved, and then shortly after you moved, you traveled, and you did not get a chance to update and let USCIS know that you have changed address, and you come back and you're ready for, they're challenging you upon reentry. They're asking you for your current address, and then you just open up and say, oh, I'm at this new address. And they're like, but wait, you don't have that on the system. What's going on? You understand? And it can help to make things worse. So you have to notify the USCIS using either an online form, AR11, and that's the most efficient way to update your address. You complete the online AR11 form on the USCIS website, and you can also submit a paper form by mail, but obviously that is slower, right? Now, another reason is that green card holders who engage in activities that threaten, obviously, United States national security can lose their status. I think that's one of the most obvious one. You're a terrorist. You know, you're doing espionage. You're doing something that goes against the United States government. Clearly, that would lead to deportation, and obviously, you will face criminal prosecution and significant legal penalties. There is also the fact that if you engage in immigration fraud after obtaining a green card, this can lead to the revocation. So, say for example, you get your green card, it's all good. And you decide, say, you are going to help out somebody, forget them staying in the United States, and you set up a marriage between somebody who have them stay, them citizenship, and somebody with them hired where I look for coming into the country. This kind of marriage fraud, and obviously all the fraudulent documentation that would go along with it, that even though it's not you in the process that's doing it, if it's revealed that you were behind it, you can lose your green card. So by helping others to commit immigration fraud, facilitating in schemes that help others to obtain immigration benefits unlawfully, you could lose your green card. And then obviously there are things like identity theft. You would face your deportation and a lifetime ban on re-entering the US. Okay? So HDK, a sincere opinion, if you have a family member who left 25 years ago and still undocumented, and now that individual is concerned about coming back home, the individuals did not even take care of what? Finish that statement, Professor Gorgeous Lady. Keep typing so I can know exactly what the full story is there, so I can respond appropriately. They took away my co-worker friend Blue Book and give her visiting visa about a month. No, exactly. They can do it. They can do it. And it is for frequent travel outside of the country 9 times out of 10. So there's also the fact that you can lose your green card if you violate the terms and conditions. So, the terms of conditional green cards. So conditional green cards are issued to individuals who have been married for less than 2 years at the time of approval, or for certain kind of investor immigrants. And these holders must meet specific conditions to remove these limitations and gain a standard permanent resident card. So, for example, if they fail to file a form, and the forms are I-751 or the I-829 form, not filing the required petition to remove conditions within the specified time frame, that can lead to automatic expiration of your conditional green card status. If you divorce before the removal of conditions, while divorce does not automatically, now listen to this because this is going to help the person who commented. Divorce does not automatically lead to the loss of a green card. It complicates the removal process. Holders must prove that the marriage was bona fide and not solely for immigration purposes. So this is what will have to happen in the case of your friend, right? They would have to show that, listen, this was a proper marriage. This was a real relationship. Our relationship broke down. And there was nothing that we could have done to stay together, despite the efforts. And, they have all the evidence. That should not deter. And then obviously, if that person doesn't withdraw. If conditions are not met, the individual may lose their green card status and be subject to removal proceedings. So it's about proving that more than anything else. There are certain health related issues. Now, this part, guys, I never know about this part of backside. When I read this, I was like, rotted, really? So, certain health related issues, right? Particularly those that pose a public health risk, can lead to inadmissibility and potentially result in revocation. Conditions such as untreated infectious diseases or mental health disorders associated with harmful behavior may be grounds for deportation. So, green card holders should undergo regular health checkups and maintain compliance with public health requirements. So, if, for example, now when I read this, I wanted to delve a bit deeper because I was like, hang on a minute, are we talking HIV here? Um, because I was like, right. So if you have HIV, you have a cut? No. The fundamental thing is untreated infectious diseases, right? Untreated, okay? Now, if you have got HIV and you are receiving treatment, and you are complying with your treatment, um, this is the best way in order to circumvent this clause. Obviously, if there's a mental health disorder where you will harm yourself or harm others, then straight away you are getting deported. You're not gonna get to keep your green card, okay? And then that problem becomes the original country's problem. So, as green card holders, you need to be aware of the conditions under which your status can be revoked in order to avoid these unintended consequences. You commit a crime, you commit fraud, and you don't maintain your continuous residence, and you keep violating other terms, there will be severe penalties. Deportation is the ultimate, but you can end up with some jail time depending on what you've done, right? And it's really important that you adhere to the guidelines. So, yes, while we all know that you are allowed to travel, staying outside of the country fundamentally for 1 year and above is problematic unless you have a re-entry permit. And that gives you a 2-year break. And you can renew that, but you have to first apply for it in the United States and you have to renew it in the United States. But if it is that you are traveling throughout the year, but you are staying out for lengthy periods of time, but not amassing to 1 year at a go, it can still be a problem if that customs officer, within their discretion, decides that you clearly have got more commitments out of the country than in. And on that basis alone, that one customs officer that you get in contact with can be your demise with your green card. And as I said, because you're not doing something illegal, they may not deport you or send you home, but they can downgrade your status to a visitor's visa. And that is the fact on that. You understand? Big up yourself, bro, Shaka. Yes, you can't live or visit with HIV in Dubai, correct. When you do your medical for immigrant visa, it's determined that you have communicable disease and they won't tell you the reason. Have mercy, God. Let me put that there, guys. Let me put that there. Jesus is Lord. That's serious. So if you notify them during the filing process that you have a business, would it make a difference? Debbie? Um, I would say that it would be counterproductive, but you can't hide these things, can you? Because ultimately they have to make a decision knowing all the facts, and omitting information can also be considered fraudulent. So I would not recommend that if somebody does have a business in the country, that it's not declared from the get-go. But at the same time, when you do become a green card holder, they're expecting you to commit to the United States economy. You need to be working there and paying your taxes there, not paying your taxes outside of the country and just living in the United States. There needs to be an economic benefit to the migration. So while it is that you may have good reason to, for example, apply for re-entry permits if you need to stay there longer, um, you can't just keep bouncing and staying out there for a period of time that's long. You understand? And think that it's no big deal because you have not amassed 1 year at a time. The way it's looking, it's like even if you are under the 1 year possibility, it can certainly flag. You understand? So we just have to be careful about that and not get ourselves into any problems with immigration. We're going to move on to the next topic now. And boy, oh boy, people, this one here is for for my Caribbean brothers and sisters in Dominica, Sacafe. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, Dominicans, right? Because I don't know what kind of mess this. Hmm? What kind of mess this going on in Dominica? What kind of mess this we? We're gonna talk about it, right? So, first of all, let me share my screen. Take a look at Mr. Man on my screen here. Take a look at Mr. Man on my screen here. Okay. Um. So I wanna see this brother here. Let me zoom him in nice and big so y'all can see his features. So y'all can see Mr. Man's features right here, right? This brother here. So this brother's name is Peter Codrington. Peter Codrington. All right, Peter Codrington. Hold on, Professor Gorgeous Lady is she's updated her comment. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. All right, hold on a minute. I'm gonna go up. So I'm going to read from the beginning of your message, a sincere opinion. If you have a family member who left 25 years ago and still undocumented, and now that individual is concerned about coming back home, the individuals did not even take care. She did not even take care of her children and turned her back on her families. Would you still help back that person to now stay with you? Well, it depends. Is this individual a family member or just a friend that was close? A family member that was close, I mean, or a family member that was not very close. If this is a family member that was close to you prior to them leaving, and when them go foreign, them get foreign mind, a local body, and then them forget everybody, I would probably still help. But only on a temporary basis. My arrangement would be very short lived on the basis that they get themselves sorted out and leave my house. Um, if it is a family member where for a long time me and them never close and they make the mistake, they them make them bed them line it themselves. The most I would do is I would have probably give her money for a couple of nights or a week in our Airbnb, and she have to go sort out herself. You understand? I wouldn't leave her on the street, homeless and destitute. I would do something, which may not necessarily mean facilitating her in my house. Do you understand? But I genuinely believe that some of these people, they are going to hit the ground hard when they return to Jamaica because they have not invested in the country. I give God thanks that I've got a property back home. But at the end of the day, I always have to also think about my kids, and anything can happen. None of us are above the law or above these immigration changes that are happening rapidly. And I need to know that if I go back or if my children go back, they have got something that they can use as leverage, and that we won't be homeless on the streets suffering or anything like that. You understand? So the biggest thing that we as Jamaican people can do right now is to always make sure we are put aside something and we are send something back. I know that sometimes it's a case of we can't trust people to send things back, but we have got to find a way to either establish a little business in a Jamaica or buy some property or buy a piece of land. Sitting we have to do, right? Because we always have to be thinking that what if them kind of thing you land from my doorstep. You understand? So as I said, it just depends on the closeness of that family member. But either way, I would do something to help because you don't want anybody of yours on the street without any kind of support. You understand? Anyway, as I said, take a look at my screen. This guy, his name is Peter Codrington. And Peter Codrington is a United Airlines pilot, from what you can see, right? So, Dominica, our beautiful island of 365 rivers, the greenest island, the greenest jewel in the whole Caribbean. And I tell you, I love that island. At one point, I was going to live in Dominica, people. Yes, my love. The way my love Dominica, I was going to live there. But Dominica, as beautiful and as nice as that island is, and the people are, it's got its little quirks. For one thing, they are very, very focused on their own people. They generally don't really like Jamaicans coming in because we do tend to take over. No lie. And uh, it was a bit of a fight trying to get settled in Dominica. But what I'm going to share with you about this was that the United, on the 15th of February, which was a memorable day for Dominica, they welcomed their first nonstop flight of the United Airlines from Newark, New Jersey. Right now, the tourism minister, Denise Charles Pemberton, she was particularly excited. They considered it a significant milestone. It's about enhancing the air access to the country. Because, hey, anybody ever fly to Dominica yet? You fly to St. Lucia, and you take one little blouse and skirt plane. Or you fly to Antigua, you take one little plane. Me used to fly by Liat. And when me tell you say the plane little, you can literally see straight in the cockpit. You can see everything what the pilot them a do. And when you look down, you can literally see your death because as straight in the ocean you look. And when it is landing and that plane start to swing towards the castries, you feel like say you're going to lose your mind. It is just swinging, swinging, swinging the plane before it land. Castries it near when they make the cane feel. Yes. When you're about to land, it just feel like you're gonna die. So at the end of the day, it's not something for the weak of heart when you are landing in the island of Dominica, yeah? So they have created, it's a big deal because with this flight coming in now, you're going to be breaking barriers in terms of tourism, business, and personal travel. Lots of opportunities. You understand? Sounds great, doesn't it? Yes. As far as Dominican government is concerned, they straight away see that this is about having more visitors, filling their hotels, eating in their restaurants, exploring the rainforest, diving into the waters, experiencing hospitality that makes Dominica unique. And this is just the beginning for them, right? They are building something even bigger, which is Dominica's first international airport, where there will be even more direct flights from even more destinations. And this is also about creating easier access for trade, investments, and job opportunities. Now, as beautiful as all of this sounds, and all about embracing that opportunity, this entire thing was made sordid by the employment of this one fussy wall on my screen that really and truly should not have been the person to launch this auspicious occasion. So, the Prime Minister is Roosevelt Skerritt, who I had I'm going to say pleasure in quotes of meeting, um, was very happy about it as well. He threw in his 2 cents. And he gave the go ahead for this particular pilot to actually carry out the momentous occasion. Now, I'm going to tell you about Skerritt, right? I'll tell you about Skerritt in Dominica. I met Skerritt, actually had a personal meeting with Skerritt. And one thing I can tell you about Skerritt is that Skerritt love young girl, yeah? Because For the whole meeting I had with Skerritt, Skerritt was busy looking down my blouse. He wasn't paying attention to one jack thing I was saying. He was only interested in staring down my blouse. I was so awkward and uncomfortable in that meeting. I'm trying to tell him about how I can have an impact on education in Dominica. And all this man was interested in was my flesh. And it taught me a lot. First of all, never go to a meeting without wearing a proper suit buttoned up to the neck. And I wasn't in a proper suit. I was in a dress. But nonetheless, I shouldn't be stared at like a piece of meat either. And it does not surprise me that Skerritt allowed this junker here to actually, yes, him is a criminal. This junker here to be the person who launched this flight. Now, I'm going to also share with you what is now being brought to the surface about this man. So take a look. It is alleged that this said pilot that was pictured a moment ago had raped a male child, ran away from bail, became a pilot in the United States, and he's now being welcomed back in Dominica as a hero. Listen carefully, He did this to a boy. See my favorite blogger upon it. Quick, Melly Mel. Tell you, don't ramp with Melly Mel, dead, anytime the controversy reach, try to say Melly Mel reach, you understand? So, this man's criminal record in Dominica was erased by the likes of Skerritt and his cronies so that he could then get glowing references and become a pilot. You understand? Become a pilot in the United States of America. So, you can't go do no pilot school and go to no pilot without things like this on your record. Right? So here's another person commenting that he had done that to a minor in Dominica a few years ago and he escaped justice. Yeah, because his parents had money and know all the who's who in Dominica. Yes, this is the kind of thing that is happening in the island. Right, now take a look at this. This person says, I wish we didn't like to sweep things under the rug and allow the ones with high statuses in the communities to get away with crime. Look at you all praising, and pretending it never happened. Some of you are just as sick. If it was a poor person's child with nothing to their name, you all would be plastering it and calling Matt in the morning radio show. All he's speaking of all his achievements and giving his history, but leaving out that he was a teacher. Listen. Because this information is too close to the fact that he did what he did to the young boy at the school that he was teaching. Wicked nation. So that is his past. He was a teacher. But one brave woman would not stop. And that is the mother of the boy whom he had assaulted. You understand? So she went out and she protested against him being allowed to be the pilot of the plane. Now guys, I don't know if you are going to hear the sound. I want you to give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound when I press play on this video. If not, me have to go do a whole heap of jigging and sort it out so that you can hear. But I'm going to press play on it. And if you can actually hear it, then just give me a thumbs up. If not, I will do something a little bit differently and get it organized so that you can hear it. All right. So hold on 1 second. Let me press play on it. Let me turn up the volume to maximum. And I'm going to press play. I know, bro, Shaka, it's shocking, isn't it? It's absolutely shocking. So give me a thumbs up. If you can hear this. Thumbs up. Can you hear? Can you guys hear? Give me a thumbs up. If you can't hear, say no. Can you guys hear? Give me a thumbs up. If not, tell me and I'll do something else. Can't hear. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so let me just do something different here. No sound. Okay, all right. I'm going to rewind it. The sound isn't going to be brilliant because she's in the road. No, still nothing. Not even a squeak. Okay. Let me just play it on here because then it'll be easier. Hang on. I'll just play it on my phone because it'll be easier then. It'll be easier if I play it on my phone. So the mother was protesting, right? The mother was protesting. Listen. My child, right now, I don't stand for him. Who will stand for him? I didn't understand why the matter came up. Suddenly, that woman all people that quote started what is necessary. I do not for my child. That is what I do. And I seem to be that I get just for my child. Can you hear now? And you say does the pilot that coming in the ear? Still nothing. All right, hold on. You're saying no, still nothing. Okay. I'm done. Okay. Listen now. Let's try this. For my child right now, if I don't stand for him, who will stand for him? I didn't answer why the matter came up. Suddenly, that forest because take all people that quote is not what is necessary. I do not comment it. I that I can go for my time. Somebody have to speak for me, somebody have to speak for me. Why you want to take up the so I'm standing for my time? And so does the pilot that coming in here? Okay. He is the one when they took off the matter that go left with my child. And if anybody wants, they can go to the court. They can see that there was matters that he was charged in the court. Wow. So she is saying that it was the pilot, it's the pilot that's coming in today, that he was actually charged, and that he's being allowed to fly into the country and being hailed as a hero in the island of Dominica. And also, what came to the fore is the fact that they expunged his criminal record so that he could then go on to train as a pilot. All of this was down to the who's who he knows, etc., etc. It was all about who he knows more than anything else. And the fact that this was a tapanaris, a family, a person who is up there in society. And because he had the right connections, he was able to remove that from his record. Now, that's quite serious when you really think about it. Because how many in our islands are actually predators like this? And we're talking about smaller islands than Jamaica, but at the end of the day, because their governments are almost so incestuous, meaning that everybody know everybody, right? And it doesn't take much for the masses to have a contact in high places. You just have to have the right level of education or the right family name or the right amount of money to it, right? For things like this to be swept under the rug, and a man like this pilot can step out there and suddenly go from predator to hero. And the people of Dominica are making noise in the comments. But literally 3 hours ago, right, you had the whole article come up bigging up the man in Dominica News Online. And absolutely nobody has referred to the protest that took place around this man. When I tell you that when you look at the Dominican newspaper, there is no mention of the fact that the woman was outside protesting. None. So she has been silenced by her own country's media, right? And the only way this news is going to hit the headlines and go out about the fact that this person is a predator who basically, sodomizes the youth, right? And then them wipe out him criminal record and so on is via social media. That's the only way we are going to get this information out so that people know who it is that we're dealing with. And like I said, his name is Peter Codrington. This is a name and shame situation, and we are make sure say the people them know that this pilot here, this one, is a predator. This pilot here, I just making it nice and big so to see. Said this is the man who was a teacher before and is now a pilot on United Airlines, has done this to a child. And really and truly, he should be reported to aviation authorities here in the United States. You hear me? Because the mere fact that it was erased from criminal record doesn't mean it did not happen. And if key witnesses are there, I would encourage that mother to get in touch with the aviation authorities, with the airlines, and see to it that they are aware of what it is that he has done to your child. And all of the criminal records that you have that includes this man's name should be sent via scan and email to the relevant individuals so that he can face the penalty of not being in such a position, held in high esteem by unsuspecting individuals. Because at the end of the day, why should he have a hero's welcome when he has done what he has done to your child? Let me tell you, so when I tell you there's a lot of children out there not facing any justice. And here we have got an entire country that has swept this situation under the rug. Skerrit, I know you are behind this because you are a weasel. You are a weasel. I mean, no says Skerrit behind this. Damn salop. I know he's behind this. Right? And this is why we continue to have the J for J movement, because of men like this that can continue to walk around and hold their head up high like they've done nothing. And that little boy must face. Of course, they need to contact United Airlines about it. Making noise in Dominica is not going to change the situation. All right. So, capture his name, capture his face. We're going to move on now to the next dirty man. CMR, your turn. Like up the live, people. Like up the live, please, and thanks. Let's talk about this. Let us talk about this. Because it coming like say, them people and I realize that this man is such a narcissistic individual that him going to string on out to dry and uno going to be there. You know, uno going to be there suffering in his wake. I hope you guys are very fully aware. Hmm? I hope you guys are very fully aware of the fact that una be used by this man. Let me tell you something. You see, a man like CMR, him like to get people to fight his battles for him. And I remember when he did that video and he was encouraging Siobhan to come out here and defend him. Defend your brother. Don't be afraid to defend your brother. And I said to Siobhan in that same video, I said, Siobhan, do not do it. He's looking for you to take the fall on his behalf. He's looking for you guys to be front and center getting the crucifixion while he holds himself up in high self-esteem and make people think that he is the best. And you will suffer as a result of it. Did I not say that, Siobhan, if you're stepping out of the way to defend this man, you are going to be accused of the same activities? I did. And while I know that it is not fitting, because if it was people, I would have come out here and I would have beat him with the same stick as I beat CMR. But I never had to, because I know that the situation that happened with Siobhan and Mimi, they were both kids. They were both kids. And that is why I did not say that Siobhan is the same. But of course, many people who don't necessarily pay attention to the details will, of course, start to say him and him brother are the same thing. And so said, so done. Look at the distress that the whole situation is causing Mimi. And Mimi, you run out with your full chest, you know, and defend what you don't know. Right? And at least you admitted to the fact that you made a mistake. And you should never have come out here and make up no one bag of noise. In on behalf of this man, when you're not fly on the wall and you don't know what going on in them household. But I look at Mimi as a young girl. She is she's very immature to life. I wouldn't say she's immature as a person, but I mean to life. She still have a lot to learn. And I'm not gonna come here and cause no distress for no little girl, because she's a little girl in comparison to me. Me could have Mimi as my pitney. And her behavior, though rash and immature when it came to the CMR case, does not mean that she should be getting the brunt end of the treatment. But this is what happens. He chooses his people to come out here and sacrifice themselves so that he can soar. And that's exactly what he did to you, Mimi, and is exactly what he was trying to do with Siobhan. Siobhan already get himself in foot in a hot water when he come out first and made his comments that was too much information. When Chrissy say, exactly where you see what go on at that go on. Which meant that Chrissy was not defending her husband, was not saying that it didn't happen. And he basically showed exactly where her emotions were at in comparison to the situation. So at the end of the day, when we see you guys getting the clap back on his behalf, many people not go sorry for you. Them not go sorry for you at all. Because it's like, she says a me kind of man this. If you notice how he comes out here and he asks you guys to defend him. And he thanks you for defending him. But do you also notice that now on a getting on a beaten on the internet? Him not say one word about you. He not come out here once and say, leave me alone because me don't deserve this. Leave my brother because him don't deserve this. And my fault and me for beat. No, but him do it for Chrissy though, don't. Him do it for Chrissy though, don't it? Mimi, you don't matter to him. I am telling you that straight. You do not matter to him. And Siobhan no really matter neither. Him just barely get a blight because I'm brother. But this guy here is a narcissist in the highest order. And when I tell you that his entire intention is to deceive so that he can feel good, he will sacrifice all of you guys to achieve that. All of you to achieve it. When he sullies your name and destroys your brand, because you are trying to build a brand, and then goes about his business dancing off in the sunset, you are all going to be left behind to pick up the pieces. And he's not going to do anything for Uno other than for tap on upon the shoulder and say thanks. You understand? He's thinking that you guys owe him that because look at what he's doing for your husband. Look at what he's doing. He's making sure that your husband can eat a food. Him bring your husband a foreign. So anything that you get, he considers it to be compensation. He is not going to look at it that something as sordid as lewd and lascivious molestation against a minor can totally destroy how people view you on the internet. Him not gonna look on it like that. Him gonna look on it that I do things for Uno, so this is the least Uno can do for me. His concern is not about your progress. It's about his own progress. You see, people like that are only about self-preservation. It's a very typical nature of a narcissistic and manipulative man. Yes, indeed. Because when me look on the little girl, the girl hurting, man. And them all a report our video them and a take down our video them. God knows why they're harassing this child. Right? Because that no make it, that no right, that no necessary. But you are now going to suffer. Every platform you're going to go on, they are going to beat you. Especially TikTok, where your whole of your peers them there. Because as far as them concerned, here you are support a dirty man. Right? You give your followers them and your subscribers them attitude. When them a tell you to leave it alone. And now that you're reflecting on the situation and actually getting more insight, because talk the truth, Mimi. Yeah, get more insight, don't it? You know, so we're not stupid out here. You're getting more insight into what's going on in the house, don't? Because remember, you know, man and woman are going to talk. And no matter how much same I tell him, brother, don't tell you nothing. Trust and believe. The two of you, when on a head lick pillow and on have on a phone and upon on one another at night time because a long distance thing, you know. So to maintain the bond, at them 2 o'clock in the morning, bad talk, they are go keep on going. And you see when them 2 o'clock in the morning, bad talk, they are going, him a tell you the things them. And him a go tell you, say, yo, Mimi, the brother have a problem. You know what I noticed that was interesting about that video that you did? You could not come out here and say that he was not what he was accused of. I wonder if people realize that. But you could, and as you should, stand up on behalf of your partner and say he is not that. And he is not. Out of all of this mess, you two to me are the ones who should never be experiencing what you're experiencing. Because you can't help that you in love with him brother. And him brother cannot help that he's related to him. That's another them choice. You are all victims of circumstance. Which is why I've never really come after any owner. Because why? Leave on for living a life and doing a blogger enjoying yourself. Any analysis I've done is of that same man, but true uno if uno do present him on a platform. But never focused on you guys. But it is full time uno wake up. And realize that you have to be in self-preservation mode sometimes. One must not be ungrateful for any help that is offered, no. But you must never sacrifice yourself and sacrifice your dignity for other people's shame to be covered. It will not work. And all he will do with his defenders is leave you guys behind. All he will do with his defenders is leave you guys behind. Right now, he's hell bent on painting himself as an ideal father because that is his biggest bugbear and his biggest downfall. So he has to go out of his way to show wherever he can that he has managed to repair something with the children he has left. It was hilarious because I saw in the comments somebody saying how they love to see him with his 4 kids, and I'm thinking to myself, all the duns them cannot even count. All the duns them cannot even count. Big up yourself, Max City. Right? All of the duns them cannot even count. It's not 3. It's not 4. And what you call it, the little girl that is there, it was the little baby and the migo one. You didn't see say Kyra never the boat. She was not around. Why didn't she want to go and hang with daddy? The little baby, she love him to love him to sickness. She all a cry for him. That's what he was told when he was on his TikTok live, which he ended when he realized he was being screen recorded. Too late. Too late. Right? But I'm just saying, he now knows what is going on. And Mimi, by extension, will know what is going on. And now they realize they're in no position to defend. They're in no position to defend because they should not have opened their mouth in the first place. But I think the public needs to let these young people grow and move away from the situation because they have done nothing wrong. They've done what family always does normally, which is instinctively react by defending their own. That is how family is supposed to be. And they just did what family does. But now that they realize that actually they really have no grounds to stand on in defending this man, we don't need to leave them in peace. Let Mimi do our little channel. Let her grow. Now, Mimi, my advice to you is don't tell people about your future plans. You came out here and you started telling people that you are going to be rich. Don't speak on it. Do not speak on it because, my great-grandmother was a very wise woman. Her name was Sammy. I love that woman there, you see, man. When that woman passed, Lord, I feel like I was going to break in two. But that old lady used to talk to me a lot. She tell me a whole heap of things. It's added to my wisdom. She used to tell me, say, it is best to keep your thoughts in your head. Because when you talk it aloud, the devil will hear it and put obstacles in your way. It's something I held on to from I was about 3 or 4. And I never let it go. There's truth in it. She said, God can read your thoughts. The devil can't. The devil has to see your actions and hear your voice to know how to tempt you. But your thoughts belong to God. You hear that? Keep your mouth shut when it comes to what your intentions are and what you plan to be and how you plan to go about it. Never speak out to your future aloud. If you've already achieved something, that's kind of different. But if you aim to achieve something, don't speak on it. You understand? Because at that time, you're going to face the problems and the obstacles. Because already you have given your enemies steps ahead of you that you should never have given. You know how the internet runs serious and all. Look at that Pretty Dan with fear myself. I like Pretty Dan now. Pretty Dan is very entertaining and very funny. And sometimes Pretty Dan spits some facts. But when Pretty Dan cuss and dip up under people, I can't stand it. But when she's actually breaking down things intelligently, she is worthy of a listen. Now imagine Pretty Dan and Blamden, they were friends. No, listen, guys, when this thing came out first with Pretty Dan, people. When this thing came out first with Pretty Dan, me never know say I blame them. I put a post on my page where after she put out that she was being threatened by somebody on TikTok who turned up at her yard. I am saying to her, but how it is that you so easy to get traumatized, etc. And you have so much mouth and everybody know where you there. You need to turn in and blame them. Cause hello, nobody know where blame them live and all these things. Right? Anyway, only for see Pretty Dan put out a statement that it was actually Blamdem who turned up at her address with masked men and him did have a pie and him threatened her. And that the video footage has been sent to um the police, etc. Now somebody has come on my TikTok to say that they have actually seen the footage, so they know it's him for sure. But I haven't seen any footage, so I don't know. And no doubt it will eventually start bouncing around if it's not bouncing around already. But I'm just trying to say to you that things are getting serious on social media. And when you talk out what your future plans are, it just take one really evil and devious um what you call it, the demon of destruction to stop your plans. Some of them will go as far as to stop your life so that your plans don't manifest and you end up a look better than them. Be careful. So you shouldn't be telling anybody, oh, you're going to get rich and what you're going to do to people when you get rich. Don't do that. Don't do that because things can happen and you end up not being there. And then they will have that same thing to turn around and laugh at you about. Be careful. Right? Be careful. That is it, Charmaine. Never let your left hand know what the right hand know. And that is it. I think that the K daughter may well have left gymnastics because her age group unit may have teased her about her dad. Yeah, we had said that. And it's funny because when the little girl Queen was in the car, she was basically saying that Kyra did not want to go because all her friends are at home. He asked her about the track and field, and she said that Kyra don't want to do track and field either. She don't want to do it. But he was still insistent that she goes to do it because the excuse that was given to her was that she doesn't want to do it because her friends are at home. And that advice was given to him via Queen. Now think about these people. You don't think say probably Queen just want to make sure she have company for go through this whole thing and she not by herself. So she had to tell her father an excuse that she knows is going to irritate the father into ensuring that her sister goes. Because sisters can do that, because she don't want her stopping her. She don't want to be the only one doing it. In addition to that, oh, it's on pink wall. Okay, me tell you, say it's a bounce about already. So in addition to that, people, Queen was telling the father that when she do track and field, she not too sure she like it because she feels sick to the point where she wants to throw up. And her appetite and so on is affected. And she feel weak and all of that after training. So it affect her ability to eat and all of that. And the father's response to that was good. That means you're training well and you're training hard. Then he starts to put in a competitive element because it's no longer about fun, for him. Because remember, him still a live vicariously through him kids, although him don't want to admit it. Then him turn around and I talk about how you think you can beat those girls. I mean, come on. The girl is not even getting a chance to dip her foot in the water to see if she likes the temperature. But instead, we're here focusing on whether or not she's going to win races. When she's telling you that she feels sick when she finished training. And he might tell her good, putting her body through that endurance test at her tiny age and her pre-developmental stage. Boy, may I tell you, I don't know what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to prove. But your girls are blatantly trying to tell you that they're fed up of all these sports and you're not pay attention, And it'll go come back and clap, Mark my words on that. His fatherly advice is filled with too much points. Let me put this here. It's filled with too much points about being a good wife. He needs to allow the kids time to be kids. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And Kyra is and you can tell that Kyra's not happy with him. Why wasn't she present? She don't want to be around him because him piss her off. And she is just that kind of girl. You can see that she outspoken. That little girl is coming more like her mother than the rest of them. And that's a fact. Who talk about people like blame them? So why when people talk about him not like it? But see, thank talk the truth and boo. Blame them is so disrespectful. He is. That's why I said when I'm now on TikTok, people. I mean, hit my 1K finally. It didn't take me long to be honest. Because when I started, when I opened up my profile to public, I was on 300 and something. And within a few days, I jumped up to 600 and something. And now it's straight up to 1K point something. So I'm not do too badly. But I have no intention of going on no live and talking to none of these people. Me no want know. And if them dare come on while me there on live, me just gonna say respectfully, please leave me alone. I'm not over here to fraternize with TikTokers. Only my followers the end. You understand? Cause me no in no ranking and me no in no nothing where these people are concerned. No sir, it's vile over there and it is too dangerous. Me go just tell them straight. Me afraid I wanna, me no want mix. Right? Because the things I'm gonna do over there, I'm only here to talk about general topics and enjoy myself and cook some food. You understand? What's the mother saying about all this? Well, it's silent so far on the part of Chrissy. She has not addressed it in any of her vlogs or anything like that. um, Essentially, to me, it seems that the sports element of the children's lives is driven by the father. He is the one that is driving it because he wants to give the impression that his daughters are winners and they're top girl and they're this and they're that. And also, don't forget the financial element, which he had the audacity to mention, that he wants them to get scholarships to reduce the amount of money he has to pay towards their college education. So, there's all kind of things in it for him because he's a me, right? He's a me guy and he's not listening because all I could hear is Quinn telling him something that she knows is gonna set him off and go, look, see, she wants to do it because her friends are at home because your kids know you more than you know yourself, and she doesn't want to be the only one suffering. She doesn't want to be the only one suffering. So when you hear her saying that, oh, Quinn, Kyla just doesn't want to do it because she said that, she told me that her friends are all at home and she just wants to be at home. And we all know that that kind of reasoning, her purpose for telling you that was not in the interest of her sister. It was in the interest of herself. So that she's not by herself while going through the training that makes her feel sick to her stomach to the point where she wants to throw up afterwards. Take that from me. Take that from a mother who's been there, done that. You understand? So when you see Mimi so distressed, CMR, and you see Mimi so upset, you don't think you can come out and say something about it and stop the girl from getting all the persecution and take some more heat for yourself. Take it away from her because she don't deserve it. She does not deserve it. She's a trying young girl, a little mother, right? And despite the fact that she had a teenage pregnancy, she has managed to put her little self together and do her little something. And she do her little vlogs and get her good views. So she should not be feeling any heat for you. You should come out and defend her. Just like how you expected your brother to come out and defend you. Come out and defend Mimi. And tell Mimi's followers and the haters on her page to give her a break because it's not her fault. It's yours. And take accountability in the process. He did track, so he wants them to fulfill his dream. Exactly. This is not going to end well. No, it's not Pottinger Naturals. It is not going to end well. But you see, they're not going to take our advice because they think that we're all a bunch of haters, right? And that the whole of we desperate for views and the whole of we hungry and the whole of we broke. And we don't have any wisdom and we haven't raised kids, right? So who are us to say anything? to the Carters. They are the experts. They are the expert family, and they are the ones that have the ideal family setup, right? So, on that basis, we are not in any position to talk. Maybe if we did videos putting out pretty baskets and stuff, then they would think that we're on their level. I'm just saying. Because that's what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. Tell you something. At the end of the day, this is just a living example of how human beings use each other in order to rise. Crab in a barrel mentality is often defined as people climbing on somebody else's back in order to get to the top and not caring about what happens to those at the bottom. And I want you to see that crab in a barrel mentality does not necessarily happen when it comes to outside elements and strangers, but can also happen within your families and your households as well. And all I see is CMR using people to fight his battles, and um, by default, he then walks away unscathed from the criticism that they are left behind to face. It's the same thing that happened on the Fix, because the Fix got a lot of heat for that interview, a whole heap of cussing for that interview. And them have to take it on the chin because they're the ones who facilitated this man on their platform, who came on there and told blatant lies. You understand? And did not do an investigation investigatory approach to the interview, which is not really their style, which is why I'm not bashing their style necessarily too much. But I've also witnessed where they have had times where they've gone hard on people and they've deliberately gone soft on CMR. And in a way have given the impression to the public that this is their friend. You understand? As opposed to an objective interview. Look at how they handled Lisa Hype. They didn't hesitate to ask her the things them. And listen, people are questioning whether or not the Fix should have interviewed Lisa Hype at that time. I don't know. Lisa Hype seems to not give a damn. We all know that she has got mental health issues, but she's equally also her own woman. And whether or not Lisa Hype is going through a manic phase, it does not stop her from having the right to choose to speak to who she wants to speak to. And this was not the only interview that she did. A lot of people are preoccupied by the Fix interview because the Fix is what you guys probably watch, or you only are aware of the Fix interview. But she conducted several interviews. You understand? She conducted several interviews. And one of the interviews that she did, hold on, I'm going to tell you the name of the channel. You guys can go and have a look at it. Bear with me a second. Let me load it up. So let me see. Let me tell you the name of it. Let me look at my history because I watched it this morning with the Rasta guy. So it's Let's Be Honest is the name of the channel. Let's Be Honest, and it's titled Lisa Hyper Speaks on Mental Health, Vibes Cartel, Dexter Daps, etc. Now, you know what I think? I think Lisa Hyper does have mental health issues. I mean, obviously, she's certified as mentally unwell, so we cannot deny that. I also think that she knows how to use this card in order to gain the attention of the media in true star form. I think she deliberately creates controversy, especially when she knows she has certain projects about to be released. She's got like 3 or 4 projects on the go that are coming out. And this is a key opportunity to wind up the audience to the expectation of that product, of those products. So I think she's using the media for her advantage. She's keeping eyes on her and she's gaining traction as a result of that. So can you blame her for that? No, because it's business when you really think about it. All publicity sells. And she, as a celebrity, she knows that. She's a controversial figure. But you know what I'm going to say about Lisa Hyper? I listened to Lisa Hyper when she was speaking on that interview with The Fix. That woman is a genius. Her mind is very special. She's very bright. Very, very bright. The Queen's girl there. Yeah, very, very bright. You understand? And when I listen to Lisa Hyper really speak, and express herself and the things that she said. Of course, she's eccentric, so a lot of the stuff is outside of the ballpark. You understand? Yeah, toxic talk. Yeah, and she will not deny that she is the queen of toxicity. She has actually said that. But what I'm trying to say is that when I listen to Lisa Hyper talk, her analytical mind, the things that she says, she even spat some lyrics. And when I listen to the intricacy of the lyrics, I'm like, this girl has a special mind. Often, a lot of the geniuses that we've condemned as crazy have created some of the best inventions to this date, right? So if you talk about people like Einstein, Einstein was written off as a madman. You understand? She said on the interview she don't have mental illness. Oh, she said it. She said it on the subsequent interview that I have now mentioned that she has. She also said it in her conversation with flipping what's that Obia man, that reader man called again, the one who used to work with Spice when now he eats Spice. She said it in that interview too, which is not really an interview, but he turned up on her live and was asking her a bunch of questions. And she's blatantly said that she has a certificate of madness. And then she's also gone on to confirm that if anything was to happen and she kicks off, she's going to use her madness to get off because she has it on paper. You understand? Lisa knows that she's got mental health issues. She knows it. And her father has come out and spoken about it before in the past, that at certain times of the year she gets manic. And if you don't know what a manic depressive person is like, I have had an experience with a manic depressive person, and may she rest in peace. She did pass. But the lady that I knew when she got manic would literally go out in the wee hours of the night and come back with a random man and be sleeping with that guy. And that woman's child would walk out and see random men in the middle of doing it with their mother on the floor. Yeah. And then when she snaps too, she doesn't even remember that she's done it. I know another manic lady, she also died, who used to be up and down downtown. Beautiful woman. And at times she would just go off and literally be out on the street. RT boss, that's right. Literally be out on the street without a shred of clothing on her body. Just walking around naked in euphoria. You hear me? They go through extreme highs and extreme lows. Extreme highs and extreme lows. And when they have those highs, they sometimes have no boundaries. They don't care who is looking, who is noticing. Lisa has all of the traits of a manic depressive. She does. But does that mean that she's incapable of being intelligent? Does that mean that she's incapable of being manipulative of the media? Does that mean that she's incapable of being an extremely creative soul? No. It just means that you have to be aware of the fact that you are dealing with somebody who, as clever and as brilliant as they are also emotionally fragile. And as she says that she's an empath, she will feel any kind of snide remark that you try to make and you think you can get away with it. She's on that. She's on it. You understand? Because she knows that you are taking pot shots at her. My neighbor is manic and she's an actress. There you go. Right? They said the same thing about Marilyn Monroe, that she was a manic depressive. Right? So I'm just saying that there are times when you see people on the surface and they are not what they appear to be, but then there are people who blatantly are what they are. And I prefer those people, which is why I prefer Lisa. Somebody like Lisa Hyper, I would prefer to flip in CMR because I don't like to be deceived. And Lisa Hyper ain't deceiving you. Yeah, okay. She tell a lot of lies, but she tell a lie and then she tell upon herself that she tell lie. so at the end of the day, what can we say about that? 1 minute she pregnant for Dexter, next minute she not pregnant for Dexter, next minute she a breed right now, next minute she lose the baby, all kind of things. But either way you take it, Dexter Daps, I think you went there. I think you went there. Honestly, I think you went there. It may not be everything that she's saying, but summer happened. Anyway, guys, big up in a nice clean up. We've talked about literally everything. We've gone all around the mulberry bush and back. Like up the live on your way out. Thank you so much for attending a touch of class with HDK. If you are new to my channel, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that share, and the subscribe button, and double click that bell. So every time I upload new content or come live, you receive your notification. I appreciate each and every one of my graduates for being in class tonight. Yes, big up on a nice clean self. And I am out. Light up the chat to the purple hats, my people. Because trust me, we still have work to do out there. Yeah? Still have work to do out there. Like up the live and drop those purple hearts as we exit.